Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Hair Healer Podcast, the Weekly Awakening. I hope everyone's enjoying these. I am super much enjoying making them, and it's definitely been a much more positive outcome than what I did before when I had both combined it and you had to listen to like an hour and 15-minute podcast. So this is definitely working out. This is the third episode. How is everyone feeling? The last couple episodes, we have talked about Mercury retrograde because we are in it. Now, I was just saying to myself last night and thinking, wow, like Mercury retrograde has not been so bad. Let me knock on wood, though, first of all. I'm fully Mercury ruled. I have a lot of planets in there. My sun, moon, and rising are Mercury ruled. So if you remember from last week, I change, shift, grow when Mercury is in retrograde. Oftentimes, oh my God, my cat, 11, don't jump on my papers. A lot of times, Mercury ruled people, let me just say that. We'll start with that. If you know me for a long time, if you watch me, I'm always shifting and evolving. And when your ruling planets are a faster planet, Venus, Mercury, the moon, you tend to grow and shift and everything. So Venus, so Mercury ruled people, our change often happens 3 times a year, right? Because Mercury retrogrades all the time. And a lot of times with Mercury as the messenger, we get messages. And so I kind of feel like, oh, maybe I put my foot in my mouth when I said about Mercury not being so bad, because this week we have Mercury retrograde square Mars. And that is very, very intense. And let me tell you a couple stories. So even though Mars is now moved into Taurus, it's still debilitated there. This sort of cycle feels like it's like ending a cycle of 3. So in 2020, even though Mars was in Aries, we had in June Mercury square Mars. And I was down the shore that day. And to give you a quick little preview of what can happen, it's not necessarily always bad, but usually it's about fighting, right? Because we have Mars, the warrior, the fighter, and Mercury, the communicator. So when it's in squares there, you just got to watch. A lot of times there's going to be big battles. And so I remember being down the shore in June, and this is a horrible story, and we were in Wildwood, and Matt went down there with the kids ahead of time. Shout out baby daddy. If you know, we sometimes vacation, do things together, all that stuff. We're good friends. And because I was working late till like 9 o'clock on a Saturday, and I was like, I just want to wake up down the beach. Can you please take the kids down there, and you can stay, and I'll meet you down there. And I got down there maybe around 11 or midnight, and he's like, you're not going to believe what just happened. And I was like, what? He was like, I was outside smoking. He does smoke cigarettes, and he's quitting. And he said this woman came out of the hotel room and just started screaming, and a guy grabbed her and brought her back in. And then he called 911 because obviously that's not, and he was going to go up there, but thank God he didn't, because he grew a lot, and you never know, especially when Mercury squared Mars, like what you're running into. The police showed up 5 minutes later. They took her away like she was alive. I prayed for her, and I pray for her now. I don't know what exactly happened. They took her in an ambulance, but they were searching that hotel room for whoever. They jumped out the window for like 5 hours. So that was the first thing. The next thing, I woke up in the morning and I walked out to get coffee, and maybe it was a little bit later. And there, I'm not kidding you, is an entire family screaming and fighting in the parking lot. I mean, it was unreal. And it just like everything was so aggravated. And I remember too, we were on the shore, the beach, we drove to a different beach, and then we parked our car and then spent all day, and we literally lost the car. We spent in the heat with the kids. I think where did we go to the beach? We were at Wildwood, but we drove to a different beach. And I remember spending 2 hours looking for that car, and we finally found it. And then when it happened again, and when we were in the last Mercury retrograde, these are all Mercury retrograde square Mars too. I should have added that part, not just Mercury square Mars, was in October, and I got into a horrible fight with someone too. So my words of advice are don't fight and avoid conflict right now this week if you can. Just avoid it. It just gets ugly. And if someone starts something, just don't go there. Just definitely avoid it. So that's my little tidbit on Mercury. So we'll see next week how I say what happened. Because like I said, this week I was like, oh, Mercury's not so bad. When does it end? On the February 20th, and we're already in February. So that is going fast. So that's my advice. Keep a lookout this week on Mercury retrograde square Mars. Avoid fights, avoid conflict. Even Mercury rules travel. So don't do any, I say this for myself, don't do any road rage. Just avoid people. Just avoid anger. Avoid that stuff right now. Now, I hope everyone checked in yesterday with the episode I dropped 2 days ago with David. That is such a good episode. One of my clients told me about David. She's like, there's this amazing, like funky, eccentric yoga instructor, and I love everyone who's eccentric. Those are my favorite type of people. And so we got to know each other. And it turns out he also was in the rooms of recovery at one point in his life. Same with me. And so when he came here to my studio, he rode his little moped and we instantly clicked. If you're familiar with the 12-Step Fellowship or have ever been in one, there's always this sense of commonality. Like when you meet someone for the first time, your energy just knows each other. You know each other's past without even knowing, just by saying, I'm a former drug addict. And so when I met him, we instantly clicked, right? Because we had that. And normally former drug addicts have just like, not about drugs, but we just have similar personalities. He has a really, really, really good story of hope, of being lost, some funny things, you do when you're an addict, and also some ugly things that you do with an addict. So it's a really, really good episode. Make sure you check that out. It's funny. And at the end, he surprised me and he was like, so I'm going to do this lightning round questions on you. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah. And it was just sort of like, this wasn't one of the questions, but like Pepsi or Coke. And then like, what song would you listen to for the rest of your life? I remember that question. And I listened to so many songs and so many favorite songs that I had to pause. And the first song, which really surprised me, but I do love this song, that came to my head was Wake Up Maggie, or Maggie May, I'm sorry, by Rod Stewart. And I've always loved that song. And actually afterwards I was like, why the hell did I pick that song? And it was really kind of relating to what had happened to me, something that happened to me in October during that time. So definitely check out that episode. It's really, really good. And don't forget, please subscribe to whatever you're listening to this on. Send it to a friend, tell them to subscribe, rate, review it. Follow me on Instagram at the Hair Healer 1111 and join the Facebook group, the Hair Healer Podcast. So we have that. Now let's talk about the new moon coming in on the 11th. Bam. This is a big new moon. As you know, for new moons, we spend the time, generically, we'll say, manifesting new beginnings, the start of something new, something beautiful, something, sometimes there can come with endings, but not too much. It's really about the full moon is sort of like coming full circle for endings. For new moons, it's like planting a new seed, a new beginning. And this new moon is very, very big because it's in the with the great Jupiter-Saturn conjunction. We have Venus in there right now. We have a stellium right there. What else? Mercury's in there. So there's a lot happening. And if you want to know what's happening, see what whole sign houses Aquarius rule in your birth chart. That is where all this focus of this new moon is going to be, because so much is happening there. I have my stellium, and this new moon is in my 5th house, which is, the 6th house. The 6th house is not, it's not a good house, right? We have good houses, we have bad houses. It doesn't mean good or bad. It doesn't mean always bad comes from that, but it's a working house. It's the working house, the healer house, the grind house. It's Mars's home. So there can just be some craziness, and it's also the house of health. And if you listen to some of this, I've told you about some health stuff that happened since it moved in there, but there is a great focus for me on work. And we have Mars right now squaring in my 9th house. And as you see, I've become the hair healer, and I've adapted energy services with my hair and my spirituality in doing that. And so one of the things when Mercury's in there retrograde, for me, I always feel lost. Like for the last couple of days, I was like, I don't know, maybe the last couple of weeks. Yeah, since July, no, not since July, God, no. Since January, there's been this sort of sense of, wait, where am I going? The last Mercury retrograde back in June was when I announced not going back to the salon, and I launched all of this, and I was running on momentum, and things are shifting and changing. And again, the next Mercury retrograde in October, things shifted and changed. So now I've been like, I'm lost. Where am I going? What am I doing? I have 2 ways I can take this podcast or my career, let's say the hair healer. There is my dreams and what I want to align and follow and know I can achieve, but that's definitely much riskier and longer. And then I have sort of the other path that is a little bit more secure and stable and hopefully can get me to my end result, but this is just an easier way, and I'm not sure which way to go. And often when that happens, the universe chooses for me or shows me exactly. And I've spent a lot of time praying and thinking like, please just show me the path, which way to go, because I'm very confused. And again, last night I was like, oh shit, it's Mercury retrograde, duh. Every time it's like, I'm just so confused as to which way to go. So by the end of this, I even think definitely by the end of this Mercury retrograde, I will know exactly, I think, which way I'm going, and I'll have some more downloads. So I'm going to focus this new moon, right, on that, on my career, on my beginnings, on my work, on my health, and what I really want to. And as I just told you that, I heard my spirit guides in my head say, Colleen, that you can achieve the greatness. Don't be scared. You just have to believe. Because that is the truth. Everything in our life we have started with with a thought, and I can achieve that in greatness. It's just scary, and it's scary to feel lost. And I shared this before, I've never spent so much time alone in my life. And it's been really beautiful and really not so lonely with that. So we have, again, find out where Aquarius, the whole sign house Aquarius rules. Big emphasis right now in your life there. And you could probably already feel it once you figure that out, be like, oh, okay, that's where the emphasis is now. And that's where the change and the growing and all of that is going to happen with that new moon. So focus on new beginnings. Focus where in your life you want to start over again, because it's right there, and this new moon's happening with the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction, and they'll be together. The last time this happened was 20 years. So this is, again, manifesting for our next 20-year cycle, which we've been doing since the December 21st, 2020. So focus on that, okay? It's going to be really, really good. Figure out what you want to do and where you want to go. Talking about last week, I'll talk about myself a little bit. I think I said about practicing, or why did I want to be the object of desire in someone's eyes. I still kind of want to be the object of desire in someone's eyes, if I'm being honest. But I was thinking to myself, like, I think that in some ways that's okay, but you have to detach from the outcome. You have to detach from the person. You have to know that, none of that truly, truly matters. And then also get to why you want to. So I've been reflecting on, I think sometimes it's okay to act out. Sometimes it's okay to have these things that are not perfect, but do you know where it's coming from, why you do it, where you go? Like when I want to be the object of someone's desire, I want someone to be obsessed with me, right? That's my inner child. That's little Colleen at 8, whose parents were divorced. Her mom was depressed. My parents, if you don't know this, if you don't know me about me, I grew up on a golf course called Pleasant Valley Golf Course in the middle of the country, Western PA. No one was there. My grandpa built it on hand. My parents divorced when I was 7, and they lived across the street from each other. And that was my whole life till my parents sold it in 2006 when I graduated high school. So, and my dad was married a few times. He's dead now, God bless him. But, when that happened, I was young and I had older siblings and everyone was busy. Like no one had time for little old Colleen. And I just spent my days in the woods by myself thinking and fantasizing and creating these lives. And that's why I became so good at manifesting. And so when I want someone to be obsessed with me, when I want someone to be the object, when I want to be the object of someone's desire, right, which brings pain because that's attachment, that's little Colleen. And I know that that's her. That's little Colleen who never felt seen or heard or loved, even though I was very loved. I will say I was very, very loved. Just wanting that attention. I want someone, I was always starving for my dad's attention. Again, he was there. He was a busy, busy, busy man though, or my siblings or my mom or anyone. So, that became like that sort of need. So a lot of times with, just especially because we've had a lot with Venus right now and Venus and Saturn signs. So bringing up things like how to grow, how to change, how to, change our karma. And I think back to little Colleen who just wants someone to say, I love you, you're amazing, and I want to spend all my time with you. So guess what? I say that to myself. I go into, and when I work with energy clients, we do a lot of inner child, and it's a lot of telling your inner child, right, that you are loved, you are cared for, and you are that person. Because here's the thing, we don't just have one energy in us, we have multiple energies in us that make up a lot of different things. And a huge player is our inner child, especially when it comes to emotional things, when it comes to relationships, friendships, or any type of attachment. Until you learn that, you end up attaching the way you attached as a child, right? Either anxious, avoidant, scary, whatever it is. And it plays out in emotion. So it's a lot about learning and healing and being who your inner child needed to be. Like I've learned since I started to separate and start everything 2 years ago with my ex-husband, and I really wanted a therapy, and we did an intense year of like inner child integrating and learning her and understanding her. And like, I know when she's coming, like out now. I know when her energy's coming. I know when it almost feels very manic-y and sort of like fun and wants to create chaos, right? My inner child's the one who believes in dreams, who runs off and marries a man after 2 months and doesn't tell anyone. That was me a couple years ago. Someone 12 years older. And, it's the Colleen who that's her. Like she just feels different now. She feels like a child, and I want to mix, manage, control everyone around me. So again, one of the ways to heal and start to heal that, whether you do it repetitively, is to talk to her. So I talk to her and I'd say, hey, I'm here. I love you. I'm giving you attention. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not doing anything, So that's really, really important. So to go back to wanting to be the object of someone's desire, I mean, we're human. I think that's going to be a natural thing, but like, how are we learning? How attached are we to that? What's happening? And a lot of times when you get down to what you really need from that situation, like, what am I really trying to get out of that situation, whatever it is with a person, place, or thing, what kind of feeling, you get that. I say, oh, wait, why do I want to even feel that feeling? What am I searching for? What's deeper? What does inner Colleen want to feel that feeling? And then usually it's released, So practice that. Humans, we're funny. We're really, really funny. And something that scares me a little bit too, and as I get to know people, and I sort of talked a little bit about dating, though I'm not dating at all, but if I chat here and there, is so many people don't know, I don't know if I talked about this last week, don't know who they are. They don't know why they do the things they do. They don't know where they go. And you can't really fully trust someone who doesn't know why they do the things they do and has no idea or doesn't even care to walk a path of self-awareness or to figure that out. And for me, because of a 12-step fellowship, it gave me, and I've talked about this before, it gave me a large emphasis on like, hey, if you want to change your life, if you want to get better, you need to be in a constant state of self-awareness. So I'm forever grateful for that. And through that, for many years, it just became addictive. I don't know how to, even when I'm fighting with someone, even when I know that, they're the ones who are wrong, like that's their perception. Like, I don't even know how to not look at myself first anymore, which is a huge thing. So, maybe start that with this new moon too. And we have Mercury retrograde, so things are coming up like, am I looking at myself? Ask yourself that. What do I know about myself? Do I know why I do the things I do? Do I know why I'm doing this? Like ask yourself, start writing, start learning about yourself. Make this the year about learning who you are, learning what makes you tick, what makes you happy, what makes you go, and learning that and not dictating it because of someone else, right? Not saying, oh, I like this because of this, or like this because of that, or sort of like trying to change yourself so you can control another human. Like, don't do that. Like, make it fully yourself. Make this year about finding who you truly are. And there with that new moon, if you're not sure who you are or what you're doing or your place in life, or you're lost, or like even some self-awareness, like focus that on your new moon list, right? Say, hey, please universe, bring some self-awareness to me. That I will say, sometimes be prepared though. When you ask for that, sometimes be prepared. And that is the truth of anything. And I'll end on this. When you ask your angels, ancestors, and guides, when you ask the universe for something, right? Just stay. Like, don't just say, just not, and be careful is not even the good word either. I'm trying to think of the word. Just it will be okay. Just sometimes you might not like the answer at first. You might not like what you see at first, but you have to learn to trust that and trust that that is also part of your path, right? And then you'll get the clarity you need, the path you need, the stuff you ask for. We just might not like what happens when it first happens. That's just what I'm going to say. And it's okay. You have to get over it, because once you have enough experience of asking for something, having it fall into your lap, not how you liked it in a more harder sense, worked through that, and then those things came, that feels so much better. I can promise you that. So we're in Mercury retrograde. We got this new moon on Thursday, the 11th. Take the time, focus on Thursday night if you can get... You could do it Wednesday night too. That would be tonight. Is today Wednesday? No, today's Tuesday. You could do it Wednesday night, Thursday night, even Friday a little bit, because the moons stay in their cycle for 2.5 days. So you can, but it's at its peak on the 11th. So sit quietly, write down, what do you want your goals. If you don't know what whole sign house Aquarius rules, then focus on a new beginning in life. What do you want to come from this life? This is our rebuilding year. We had 2020 was tearing down. 2021 is rebuilding to be the person, have the life, be the soul that you want to be. For 2021, I'm manifesting peace, love, friends, success, abundance. That's it, baby. And sometimes with the universe, you can keep it that simple too, with just saying the words. And sometimes I like that, because then I know I'm truly aligning. Instead of trying to control the outcome, I'm truly aligning what my higher power has for me. So I'll end it on that. I hope everyone enjoyed this week's The Weekly Awakening. Yeah, I'm really loving that name. I'm working with that name. I think it fits really well. That's the one that keeps coming to me. So I hope everyone has a fabulous weekend. Don't forget, rate, subscribe, send this to a friend. If you have any questions or you want to be on the show or you want me to talk about other stuff during this time, please email me, thehairhealerpodcast@yahoo.com. I hope everyone has a fabulous week. I love you all and goodbye.